One of the old institutions which still remain in the Cotswolds is the annual Mop or hiring fair. Every labouring man in this district hurries into the town, where all sorts of entertainments are held in the marketplace, including whiny go-rounds, discordant music, and the usual shows which go to make up a country fair. Hiring used to be the great feature of these fairs. In the days before local newspapers were invented, every sort of servant, from a farmhand to a maid-of-all-work, was hired for the year at the annual Mop. The word mop is derived from an old custom which ordained that the maidservants who came to find situations should bring their badge of office with them to the fair. They came with their brooms and mops, just as a carter would tie a piece of whipcord to his coat, and a shepherd's hat would be decorated with a tuft of wool. Time was when the labouring man was never happy unless he changed his abode from year to year. He would get tired of one master and one village and be off to Cirencester Mop, where he was pretty sure to get a fresh job. Many farm labourers have a natural inclination to rove from place to place and cannot be cured of the propensity. The old system of fairs encouraged this tendency. The habit of going to be hired became ingrained in the men and youths. As the time came round, they began to grow restless, as do birds at the season of migration. They were bound to obey the innate prompting and look about for new quarters. An almost infallible plan of getting to know whether the men intended to stop at the farm or not was carefully to watch their gardens. If they were kept clean and well stocked with cabbages and wintergreens, the farmer was persuaded that Bob or Jack intended to stay with him. But if none of these were planted, and the plots were allowed to become untidy, that was a sure sign that the men would be on the move at Michaelmas. Very often, too, the men would stop at a place, but their wives will not consent to it. They have the same inclination as the husbands, to change their quarters and experience fresh fields and pastures new. But nowadays the Cotswold men are beginning to realize that 2 removes are as bad as a fire. The best of them stay for years in the same village. This is very much more satisfactory for all concerned. Deeply rooted though the love of change appears to be in the hearts of 9/10 of the human race, the restless spirit seldom enjoys real peace and quiet, and the discontent and poverty of the labouring class in times gone by may safely be attributed to their never-ceasing changes and removal of their belongings to other parts of the country. Now that these old fairs no longer answer the purpose for which they existed for hundreds of years, they will doubtless gradually die out. And they have their drawbacks. An occasion of this kind is always associated with a good deal of drunkenness. The old marketplace of Cirencester for a few days in each autumn becomes a regular pandemonium. It is marvellous how quickly all traces of the great show are swept away, and the place once more settles down to the normal condition of an old-fashioned, though well-to-do, country town. Old Aaron and Daniel, the haymakers, are sceptical when mention is made of prehistoric times. For the physical features of the earth and the fossil remains discovered in the quarries and ofttimes built into the walls of their houses, they hold Noah's flood responsible. They believe that stones and minerals grow and affirm that the sarsens in the meadow get visibly bigger year by year. Some of them, they say, are as large again as when they were boys. They are, moreover, positive that bones grow when they are buried in the earth, and that the skeleton of a man or animal will ultimately be enlarged to very much more than its original size. They consider that the prehistoric camp at Blunsdon was made by Oliver Cromwell. The first hunters, according to their idea, were Robin Hood and his merry men. The earliest battles fought were those between King Alfred and the Danes, and they believe that man sprang direct from the biblical Adam. There can be no doubt whatever about all these things. But neither Daniel nor Aaron is given to deep and speculative thinking. They love most of all during haymaking and at dinner time, sitting beneath the thick hedge, fragrant with blossom, or around the trunk of the shady elm or willow beside the sunny river, to talk about past toils and conquests in the field, or diverse experiences here and there.